Stoic Rules. Welcome to our video on the Stoic Rules. Stoicism is a philosophy that was founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BCE. It is a philosophy that teaches us how to live a virtuous life, how to handle difficult situations, and how to be content with what we have. It's a philosophy that has been practiced by some of the most influential people in history, such as Epictetus, Seneca, and the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. In this video, we will be discussing the key principles or rules of Stoicism, and how they can be applied in our daily lives. Rule 1. Live according to nature. The Stoics believed that living according to nature means understanding and accepting the natural order of things, and living in harmony with it. This means embracing the laws of the universe and the natural order of things and working with them, rather than against them. For example, when it rains, instead of getting upset, we can accept that this is a natural occurrence and make the best of the situation by finding an indoor activity. In terms of Stoicism, this principle relates to the idea that we should focus on the things we can control and let go of the things we can't. By understanding and accepting the natural order of things, we can let go of our desire to control everything and find peace within ourselves. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Accepting change and going with the flow instead of resisting it. 2. Being grateful for what we have and finding contentment in the present moment. 3. Embracing challenges and difficulties as natural occurrences and opportunities for growth and development. 4. Letting go of perfectionism, and accepting that everything has its natural imperfections. By living according to nature, we can find peace and acceptance in the present moment and cultivate a sense of inner harmony. Rule 2. Control your emotions. The Stoics believed that emotions like fear and desire can lead to negative consequences and that one should strive to be indifferent to them. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions altogether, but rather not letting them control our actions and reactions. They believed that by being in control of our emotions, we can maintain a sense of inner peace and rationality. For example, instead of allowing fear to control our actions and decisions, we can acknowledge it and make a conscious choice to act despite it. Similarly, instead of allowing desire to control our thoughts and actions, we can focus on what we truly need and be content with what we have. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Practicing mindfulness and being aware of our emotions as they arise. 2. Learning to observe our emotions without getting caught up in them. 3. Developing strategies for managing and regulating emotions, such as deep breathing or meditation. 4. Learning to let go of things we cannot change. 5. Seeing emotions as temporary states of mind, rather than permanent parts of our identity. By controlling our emotions, we can maintain a sense of inner peace and rationality and make better decisions. Rule 3. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics believed that one should only concern themselves with things they can control, and not worry about things outside of their control. This principle is closely related to the idea of living according to nature and accepting the natural order of things. By focusing on what we can control, we can minimize feelings of frustration and helplessness, and instead direct our energy toward taking action and making positive change. For example, instead of worrying about the weather, we can focus on what we can control, such as bringing an umbrella or wearing a coat. Similarly, instead of worrying about the actions of others, we can focus on our actions and behavior. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Prioritizing actions over thoughts and worries. 2. Making a list of things we can control and things we can't control. 3. Learning to distinguish between what we can control and what we can't control. 4. Practicing self-reflection and taking responsibility for our actions. 5. Setting realistic goals and taking action towards achieving them. By focusing on what we can control, we can minimize feelings of frustration and helplessness, and instead direct our energy toward taking action and making positive change. Rule 4. Practice virtue. The Stoics believed that virtue, such as wisdom, courage, and justice, was the highest good and the key to living a good life. They believed that by practicing virtue, we can live a life that is in alignment with our true nature and the natural order of things. They also believed that virtue is an end in itself and that it is the ultimate goal of human existence. For example, wisdom is the ability to see things as they truly are and make decisions accordingly. Courage is the ability to face difficult situations with determination and resilience. Justice is the ability to act fairly and equitably toward others. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Cultivating self-awareness and understanding our motivations and actions. 2. Acting with integrity and standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. 3. Being honest and transparent in our interactions with others. 4. Being a good listener and treating others with respect and empathy. 5. Practicing self-discipline and self-control. 6. Continuously seeking self-improvement and striving to become the best version of ourselves. By practicing virtue, we can live a life that is in alignment with our true nature and the natural order of things. We can also find inner peace and fulfillment. Rule 5. Cultivate inner peace. The Stoics believed that inner peace comes from living by virtue and accepting the natural order of things. They believed that by practicing virtue and living according to nature, one can find a sense of inner peace and contentment. This inner peace is not dependent on external circumstances, but rather on our state of mind and how we choose to perceive and react to the world around us. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Practicing mindfulness and being present at the moment. 2. Letting go of negative thoughts and emotions. 3. Accepting things as they are and not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. 4. Developing a positive attitude and focusing on the good in situations. 5. Cultivating gratitude and being thankful for what we have. 6. Prioritizing self-care and taking care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. By cultivating inner peace, we can find a sense of contentment and fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. We can also make better decisions, react more calmly to difficult situations, and have more meaningful and satisfying relationships. Rule 6. Prepare for the worst. The Stoics believed that one should be mentally prepared for the worst-case scenarios, so that if they do happen, one will be able to handle them with equanimity. They believed that by preparing for the worst, we can reduce feelings of fear and anxiety, and instead approach difficult situations with a sense of calm and rationality. For example, instead of fearing the worst, we can prepare for it by having a plan in place, such as having an emergency fund or a backup plan. Similarly, instead of fearing failure, we can prepare for it by learning from past failures and having the plan to mitigate the risks. Examples of how this rule can be applied in daily life include: 1. Practicing mental and emotional resilience by being open to change and being able to adapt to new situations. 2. Creating a plan for dealing with difficult situations that may arise. 3. Anticipating potential problems and finding solutions for them. 4. Preparing for the worst-case scenario does not mean dwelling on it, but rather acknowledging it, and taking steps to mitigate the risks. 5. Being open to learning from failure and using it as a tool for growth. By preparing for the worst, we can reduce feelings of fear and anxiety, and instead approach difficult situations with a sense of calm and rationality. This can help us to make better decisions, react more calmly to difficult situations, and have more meaningful and satisfying relationships. In this video, we discussed the key principles or rules of Stoicism, and how they can be applied in our daily lives. We covered the principles of living according to nature, controlling our emotions, focusing on what we can control, practicing virtue, cultivating inner peace, and preparing for the worst. These principles can help us to find peace and contentment in the present moment, make better decisions, react more calmly to difficult situations, and have more meaningful and satisfying relationships. We can also find inner peace and fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. We hope that this video has given you a better understanding of Stoicism and its principles, and that you will consider incorporating them into your own life. Remember, the Stoic philosophy is not about being emotionless or detached, but about finding inner peace and equanimity, to live a virtuous and fulfilling life. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video.